Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us. Hey, Charlotte County. This is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to bring up before I do this article on how this is bad. We were actually for a long time trying to fight this Baker Act bull crap that they have down here in Charlotte County, and basically what almost literally any cop school teacher is just fucked up. Can Baker Act, I mean, this Nazi, does this fucker look like a doctor? No. Anyways, anybody can say that you're mental and put you away. You lose you lose all constitutional rights. Your family loses all constitutional rights, and it costs almost $1,000 a frickin' night. You're in there for 3 days automatically, and they're talking about taking your fucking guns now. So comprehend this. This can be abused. If you are not a total copsucker worshiper of this ass fuck dictator here that we have, then what are they going to consider you? You're going to be mental. I have did records research. They already say that I'm mental because I believe in the Constitution and our rights, and I fight their fucking corruption. Jesus, wake the fuck up. This is not good. This is bad. Man, come on, sheep. These are the wolves, period. Wake up.
Better than the Baker Act? New proposal surpasses current law for detaining and treating patients with mental illnesses. By Elaine Allen Emmerich, Community News Editor. It's called the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. It has new provisions in identifying mental health and violence issues that are different from Florida's Baker Act, which is currently used to hold people involuntarily and treat them for mental illness. This week, the Florida Senate passed Bill 7026, described as a comprehensive approach to addressing issues learned after the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. As of Thursday, Governor Rick Scott had not signed the act into law. His office released the following statement: "Our office has received SB 7026 from the Florida legislature. The governor is thoroughly reviewing the legislation. He will be meeting with victims' families on Friday in Tallahassee before he acts. Our office will have more details as soon as they are available." The bill includes firearm limits for those under 21 or with mental illness, school safety, require a 3-day waiting period for most gun purchases, and ban the sale or possession of bump stocks, which allow semi-automatic rifles to fire faster, and adding community mental health resources. The bill would give law enforcement officials more power to temporarily seize weapons and ammunition from people with mental health issues or threatening violence. But how is it different from current laws about detaining and treating people with mental illness or substance abuse problems? When a person is in a treatment center, there's no guarantee they will have all of the stabilization treatment necessary in even the first 48 hours. I've heard it time and again. So you have people in crisis who leave the center and don't have a solid follow-up plan. Lori Ray, founder of Johnny's Dream, just reach out. For more information on treatment, prevention, crisis services, the Baker Act receiving facilities, suicide prevention, the Markman Act and other mental health resources, visit www.myflfamilies.com/service-program/mental-health. Involuntary commitment. The new proposal is different than the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971, commonly referred as the Baker Act, which allows for emergency or involuntary commitment of a person displaying symptoms of mental illness for up to 72 hours. The Baker Act can be initiated by law enforcement, judges, physicians, or mental health professionals. Requirements for the Baker Act include those in danger of hurting themselves or others if they are not restrained and treated. Under the current law, a patient confined through the Baker Act cannot be delayed or denied treatment for mental illness and services because of inability to pay. However, Even publicly run treatment facilities such as the ones in Charlotte and Sarasota counties can try to collect from patients following treatment. The only publicly funded intake center in Charlotte County is Coastal Behavioral Health Care in Punta Gorda, according to the Florida Department of Children and Families. Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Bayside Center for Behavioral Incorporated, just south of downtown Sarasota, is the only one in Sarasota County. During the 72 hours of a Baker Act, the patient can receive treatment, stabilization, or triage for a mental illness or a substance use disorder. Clinical records must be handed over by a guardian or advocate if they are involved in the process to ensure the continuity of the patient's health care or mental health care. Not more than 5 days after admission to a facility, the patient, if able, must assist in preparing an individualized treatment plan in writing. After the patient is released, the plan is to be implemented through follow-up treatments. A new plan. The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act creates a separate category to involuntarily hold someone for a mental health evaluation for 72 hours. Called a risk protection order, if passed, it would allow courts to determine whether a patient is a threat based on a number of circumstances. One of those is whether the person committed an act or threat of violence against themselves or others within the past 12 months. In the area of mental health, the legislation would make significant changes to keep firearms out of the hands of those suffering from mental illness. It also can take effect if there is evidence that the person is seriously mentally ill or had recurring mental health issues, or if the person had a conviction, withheld adjudication, or no contest pleas anywhere in the U.S. to domestic violence. Other factors include a history of violent crime, access to firearms or reckless use of a firearm, threats of violence, stalking, or evidence of drug or alcohol abuse. It could also take effect if a person has recently obtained a firearm or ammunition. The Act contains some of the gun control legislation, including the temporary seizure of firearms of people taken into custody under a risk protection order. If signed into law, the Act would allow law enforcement to seize and hold firearms and ammunition for up to 72 hours from those who have been held under a risk protection order. It would also prevent people who have been ruled by a judge to be mentally defective or have been committed to a mental institution from owning or possessing a firearm until the right is restored after a petition. Where is the follow-up? Of the 195,000 Floridians taken into custody for a Baker Act evaluation in fiscal year 2015 to 2016, many were released with no follow-up, according to DCF data. Because it's voluntary, a person doesn't have to stay in treatment for the full 72 hours, said Lori Ray, founder of Johnny's Dream. Just reach out. Johnny's Dream is a foundation that pays for those who are serious about entering into a long-term substance abuse treatment facility, most often following a voluntary Baker Act. When a person is in a treatment center, there's no guarantee they will have all of the stabilization treatment necessary in even the first 48 hours. I've heard it time and again. So you have people in crisis who leave the center and don't have a solid follow-up plan. To combat existing loopholes which law enforcement and others reported have allowed those with mental illness to buy guns, Governor Rick Scott pledged $90 million for mental health issues, with $67 million will go to schools in 67 counties in Florida. The funding is in the current version of the Public Safety Act. Scott proposed expanding mental health service teams statewide to provide counseling, crisis management, and other services. However, while it is an increase, Florida is spending 40% less on mental health than it did in 2000, according to Melanie Brown-Woofter, president of the Florida Council for Community Mental Health. Email, eallen@sun-herald.com.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done...
for life hating so much.
Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just
getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
County, this is Sheriff County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.